Sabatino, he's been in the truth for 70 years, this year in fact. How old were you when you were baptized, Brother Sabatino?
I was 16 years old in 1944.
Okay, now were you raised in the truth?
No. What had happened was when I was 7, my dad died, and my mom had to raise 6 kids. I was the oldest. And as a result, things happened. People upstairs took an interest in my mother, provided cookies and bread and other things, and I observed that. I observed, too, the fact that every Sunday they went to their church. So when I turned 14, I asked my mom if I could go to their church and find out what they did, since I gave up the Catholic religion. And so the first meeting we went to that Sunday morning was meeting for field service.
That's a good story.
I never stopped ever since.
That's right. 2 years later, you got baptized. Can you, when you look back at your 70 years in the truth, is there something that you can pinpoint that helped you stay on this road to life?
Yes. In my late 20s, I left a new home in West Covina, a good paying job as a machinist. My wife and I, we took 2 of our children, 3 and 7, to serve where the need was greater back east in a small city of 15,000. What had happened, because we couldn't get any work in that small town, finally our money ran out, and so did our food.
So what happened?
Well, there was an assembly looming ahead in New York City, International, Polo Grounds and Yankee Stadium. We wanted to go so badly. Either that or go home to California. And without asking for it, a check came in from my family in California of $200. So we decided we're going to the assembly. And when we got there, amazing things happened to prove that Jehovah never abandons you if you put kingdom interests first, as Jesus said. We found a sister there that we knew in West Covina. Her uncle had a room for us for only $2 a night. Then we met brothers that I saw where I grew up in the truth. And they helped us through that period of time that allowed us to serve for another 6 years.
So you served another 6 years after that.
And since then we resolved, never miss a meeting, never miss an assembly, whether it's 8 days, 5 days, or 3 days, or even like this one day. Stay close to the organization, keep busy in the truth, and follow direction by the faithful slave.
Very good. Did you see something he did that helped him stay on the road to life? He made his conventions, assemblies, and meetings, even in dire circumstances. Very good. Now this is Sister Judy Miner. How old were you when you were baptized, Sister Miner?
I was 14.
So you've been in the truth almost 50 years. Huh? That's good. See, I told you they wouldn't figure it out. How did you learn the truth?
I learned the truth from a neighbor. When I was a kid, my sister and I would play with this little girl down the street. And they had just become witnesses. And we'd hang out there so much that some of it just started to rub off. And occasionally we'd go to meetings with them. I was about 10. A few years later, it became a little more regular, and I actually had a Bible study conducted with me.
And that was at 12, right?
That was at 12.
Okay, and then you got baptized
at 14.
So what happened after you were baptized? What roadblocks were presented?
Well, that's when things got very difficult. I was raised in a Jewish family, and although my parents appreciated the Bible, they did not appreciate that I got baptized. And so then they forbid me from going to meetings. So for a number of years, it was real hit and miss. And eventually I became inactive.
Okay, so you became inactive around 17. Eventually you stopped going to meetings for about 3 or 4 years.
That's correct.
Well, how was it that you came back onto this road that leads to life?
Well, in the interim, I was married, and a brother was able to reach me on a Saturday at my house. And I told him right away that I was a baptized witness, but inactive, and he encouraged me to start coming to the meetings. And he came back several times. And finally, I thought about how empty my life was without that. And so one day I just told my husband, I said, I'm going to the meeting this Sunday, and I never stopped going.
That's so good. What privilege have you enjoyed since then?
Well, lots of things, but mainly 21 years of continuous pioneering.
And how was that?
It was awesome.
Did you learn something from that? See, she accepted the help of the congregation to get her going again. See? Take advantage of that. This is Sister Madison Young. Now, you were raised in the truth. How old were you when you got baptized?
I was 10 years old.
Did you feel like you knew what you were doing looking back at it?
I do. At that age, I was really starting to progress spiritually and start setting goals, but baptism was the next step.
Okay, good. Now, a few years later, when you were about 15, 16, you stumbled on this road to life. Now, what happened?
Well, my family went through some hard times, and I became very unhappy. And I knew it was the truth, but I just started thinking that I'd be happier in the world, that it'd be easier. So I started making choices and started leading a double life, and I was disfellowshipped at 16.
Okay, and you were out of the truth for about 3 years, right?
That's right.
Do you think that your baptism at 10 years old played a part in you coming back to the truth?
I do, because the discipline was good for me. It was really hard to be disfellowshipped, and I have a lot of regrets over what I went through. But the truth is I would have made those choices anyways, whether I was baptized or not. And it was that connection that I had with Jehovah and the organization, and the fact that I lost it, and being outside of that, it really made me see the gravity of the choices that I was making. So it really helped me.
Okay, good. Now, when you look back at that, what warning signs did you not really pay attention to?
It was definitely the warning about bad association. I had a lot of friends at school, and I really thought that I could handle it, that I could be balanced. But looking back, I can really see how their thinking affected my thinking. And so I had to learn the hard way that the world has nothing to offer, and that my friendships with him only made me more unhappy.
That's so good. Did you listen to that? So you have to pay attention to warning signs. Very important. What are you doing now, Sister Young?
Well, I'm really happy to say that I've reached some of my spiritual goals, and including full-time pioneering. I've had some really great experiences.
And what do you think of Pioneer School?
My words are, it's worth it. It was awesome, just like Judy said, and I really hope to go again someday.
Okay, thank you so much for your expression.